Hi everybody, I'm Cody.
I'm Eric.
And welcome to episode 4 of Eye on Industry. This is our podcast, and today we're going to talk about how general maintenance will save you money in the long run on your motorcycle. And a lot of people neglect it. So you see we got a lot of bikes behind us. Most of these bikes are in here for service or some kind of repair work, whether it be the general basic service of an oil change and a tire change, or getting the valves adjusted, or they're in here because they didn't take care of their bike and now they're spending a lot of money to get it fixed. A lot of people, I heard people complain how much it costs to maintain their motorcycle. Yes, it does cost money to maintain a motorcycle. A lot of people get a motorcycle think it's cheaper to maintain and ride than there's to drive their personal car, and that is so far from the truth. A lot of times it's specialty oil, like 2050. It's not typical oil you go buy off the shelf. The filters are different. There is some different kind of, a car, you buy it, oil change every 5,000 miles, tire rotation every 5,000 miles, do the brakes every 60,000 miles, transmission flush every 100,000 miles. That's your general maintenance on a car. On a motorcycle, it's oil change every 2,500 to 5,000 miles. It is a steering head adjustment every 25,000 miles. It is fork rebuild every 30,000 miles. It is a tire change swap usually every 6 to 12,000 miles. Valve adjustment usually every 10,000 miles, depending on the bike. Not every bike's need valve adjustment. And that's just some of the stuff you got to do. So I've already listed so much more maintenance right off the bat than what you have on a normal car. But in doing that, how much money do you think it'll save you in the long run?
Thousands of dollars over the years of owning the motorcycle. Keep in mind, if you don't take care of it, usually it breaks and it takes a lot of stuff out as one individual part fails. Then it's a chain reaction and it breaks several other things in line with it, and it multiplies really fast. And usually the cost, parts are expensive, period. Okay, don't skip on parts. I'm just telling you, actually buy
quality parts.
Buy quality parts, just do it. But there's a lot of labor time involved. And there's a lot of stuff that maybe in and of itself is not very difficult to do, but it's very time consuming. Also keep in mind, whenever you add stuff onto your motorcycle that you have to take off in order to just do service, then that adds time and expense also. Not against accessories. Accessories are fine. You should accessorize the motorcycle however you want. But you need to take into consideration, if you hamper the ability to do service work on your motorcycle with accessories, then you're going to pay more because of taking said accessory off and then putting said accessory back on.
We'll use a customer's bike as an example. The guy brought in a road glide and the clutch was out in it and needed an adjustment. Well, to adjust the clutch on these newer Milwaukee gates, it is right along the right side of the frame. Well, this customer in particular wanted speakers and amps and lower fairings and all kinds of stuff added to his bike. That's fine, that's what he wanted. It added up like being another hour and a half, 2 hours just to do the job, because we literally had to disconnect all the wiring stuff from that lower fairing, and instead of just having a few bolts to take it off, we had to undo all of it. The bolts that held the speaker in, to pull the speaker out, we had to undo the speaker wires, we had to undo the nuts on the back side to get the top clamp come apart. It ended up being a way bigger job than it should have been. And like I said, you need to take that into consideration when you add stuff to your bike, that sometimes you got to take stuff apart to get to it. That's just, it is what it is.
A lot of times I encourage customers to buy a manual, buy a service manual, and take the time to learn what's involved in a lot of the basic maintenance. Actually give it a try. There's a lot of it that you don't have to be greatly mechanically inclined to do it. You just need to take the time to do it. A lot of people come in and they have the excuse, well, I'm not mechanically inclined. Well, basic maintenance, a lot of times, that doesn't require a lot of that. You just need to read the book, follow the book, and most, well, I would say most all, period, if they're a quality book, okay,
Yeah.
has enough description that you're not going to get lost. People that come in and they try and give me the excuse is it wasn't listed in the manual. Well, what manual do you have? And it's some reprint of a reprint of a reprint. And somewhere down the line, it's lost a lot of information. Buy a factory book. Just do it. It's worth having. It's will show you a lot. And taking the time to do some of your own preventive maintenance, there's nothing wrong with that. It helps you understand your motorcycle better. Most of it you can do with simple basic hand tools. It's outlined in the book. I kind of encourage that. Not trying to run any business away. I just think that it's important that if you're going to own a motorcycle, maybe you should take some time to learn how to maintain it, tire pressures, adjust, if it's chain drive or belt drive, adjust the chain, make sure the wheel is in alignment, checking its fluids.
Yeah.
At least know how to drain and refill its fluids. Even brake pad replacement on a lot of modern disc brakes is not difficult to have the caliper off and have the pads out, have the pads back in. Now, if you're going to bring a bike and you're going to have it serviced and it's got luggage on it, don't bring it with the luggage on it, and don't bring it with it full of your stuff in the luggage.
Yeah, we don't like, it's not just us, it's any shop in general. We don't like having to go through your personal stuff to take it out of your bike, to take your saddlebags or your quarter pad off of it. If it's a quick detach and it comes from the factory that way, to do it. Harley Davidson's, I've worked on so many Hardison bikes where they're just packed to the top of each saddlebag. It's completely full. I got to unload half the saddlebag in order to get the screws out or the speed clips to get the bag off. And then they're heavy, and then I don't put a Bathas that same way. The customer's not happy. It saves everybody time and stress.
Yeah, you've got lids on your hard bags that have speakers in them, and you got to have the hard bag off, and you can't remove the hard bag because the speaker's hardwired. Look, don't go down that road. If you're going to add accessories, like we said before, make sure that it's still accessible for service and maintenance. And if you're going to take it to a shop, don't bring something that's oily, nasty, and dirty. Don't bring something that's still wet and dripping fresh from the car wash. And don't bring it with all your crap in your bags.
And if you have a let's say you've got a Goldwing or a Harley Ultra Classic or an Indian Challenger, you got a big touring bike, and you decided you want to put a center stand on it, please let the service shop know that there's a center stand on your bike. The reason we say that is because those will actually catch the ramp going up on the lift, and we may drop your bike. I almost dropped a customer's $50,000 CBO motorcycle because the ramp on the lift caught the bottom of the center stand. I didn't know it was on there.
Yeah, keep in mind a lot of people have these center stands that are all tucked in and you can't see them because it's all in the name of being clean. And let people know what's been added. Like I said, when you're trying to get something on and off the lift, and then everybody that wants to lower a motorcycle, you need to keep in mind that sometimes it makes it very difficult to service said motorcycles when it's low because you can't get underneath it to get stuff out of it. So you have to find a way to pick the back of the motorcycle up. You've got to have it on a lift. You've got to pick the bike up so you can get under it. Again, adds time. Time is money. Somebody that owns the same motorcycle as you may pay a little bit less because they don't have as much time invested as yours does.
I want to share one story, then we'll end this. So I was working for Harley Davidson years ago, and a guy came in there. He had a Ultra Classic, and he wanted to do a 3-hole service. So Harley Davidson has a engine hole, primary hole, and transmission. They're all take different fluids, and they all drain from 3 different places. He goes, "Is it easy to do it?" I explained to him how to do the service on this bike. Simple, dropping the fluids and putting it back in. All right, sorry about that. The phone died, battery died. Back to the story. So I explained to him how to do this 3-hole service. I did not explain to him the difference between an Allen and a Torx. He came in the shop the next day, and he stripped out the Allen head that holds the floorboard on the Harley. Could not get it off. I ended up having to go to his house and remove this floorboard, and so that he could finish the job. Again, if you're not sure what an Allen and a Torx is, go to my channel. You're already on the channel. Go to my shorts, and it's how to remove a stripped bolt on a wheel. Go watch that video. You'll see the difference between an Allen and a Torx. Make sure that you are using the correct tools to do the job. If you're working on a Japanese bike, they're metric tools. If you're working on a Harley, it's 50-50. It used to just be standard, but now it's 50-50. Indians, I'm not sure. I haven't really worked on a whole lot of Indians.
A lot of metrics, but problems I run into is there'll be an Allen drain plug, and it's metric, and
Yep.
I'll try and use an American
Standard.
Allen in it, and it makes it a round hole.
Yep.
Or vice versa. It's American, they try and put a metric in it, and they make it round, and then they come in, and it won't come out. You can't get to it. Of course, it's always a denial from the customer. "Oh my Lord, that was just fine when I put it back whenever." It's like, well, it's not, and you can see that it's not fresh. You can see that it's been done a long time, so.
And if you buy a proper service manual, like he is talking about, I have a lot of money in service manuals, and they're all directly from the manufacturer. Like Harley's Harley, Yamaha's Yamaha. I buy official manuals directly from the company. They will tell you if it's a Torx or an Allen for 17 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 5/8. It tells you what size it is. And you don't need to torque those things crazy down. Make sure you use a new brass washer if it's got brass on it. Make sure you use a new rubber O-ring if it's got a rubber O-ring. If it's got thread tape, make sure you use thread tape. Put it back the same way it was you took it off. If it wasn't leaking when you took it off, then do the same thing and put it back on so it doesn't leak again. And when you put an oil filter on, make sure it's not double O-ring. And by what I mean by double O-ring is sometimes the O-ring on the oil filter will stick to the back of the actual engine casing. And when you put the new oil filter on, it's not a tight seal. You're going to go all over the place. Make sure that doesn't happen. Take some oil around the inside on the O-ring when you do put the oil filter on. Go till it's tight, and then go another quarter turn. You don't need to torque the crap out of your oil filters, people. Really. Go till it touches, until it's tight, and then another quarter turn by hand. That's all you gotta do.
If it's firm by hand, it should be fine. There's a lot of times people come in and somebody has really put a lot of oomph on the oil filter, and it does not want to come loose.
Which increases the time it takes for us to do a simple job.
Yeah, or it takes more time for you to do it, and then you pull the end out of this oil filter, and then it's just way up in the motor, just the metal end, and then you're trying to get it loose. It goes down a rabbit hole fast. Quality parts, take your time, good literature. It'll save money in the long run.
And listen, if you're not comfortable working on your own bike,
Then don't.
then don't. We do what we do for a living for a reason, because we know what we're doing. If you're not comfortable doing it, then don't feel like we're pushing you to go out and work on your own bike.
No.
We're just encouraging you to try it. But if you really feel like in your mind that you just can't do it, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Take it to somebody that's comfortable doing it.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you'll end up with the bigger bill because you tried and you did fail, and it made it way worse. So, yeah.
lack of maintenance makes for huge repair bills, and we could talk for a long, long time about how the neglect of maintenance increases the chances of tearing up other parts. So get a book. You have an owner's manual. Owner's manual will also suggest a basic outline of service.
Yeah, I know the Harley service manuals will go from 0, I think, to 100,000 miles, and they have that's like a graph, and they will tell you to straight across fork steering adjustment, and then you look, and down it says 30,000 miles. So okay, check, adjust, check means check it. Then it says adjust. So when it says adjust, that means you need to actually adjust it or take it apart, clean it, put new grease, whatnot. So, and all service manuals do this. I don't care what brand it is. It's either in the front or in the back. They will have a checklist on how many miles are on the bike and what you need to do.
Yeah, and keeping in mind, if you ride spiritedly, or ride a little fast or a little hard on them, then your service is going to be a little sooner, okay? Or a lot sooner, depending on how hard you are on the motorcycle. But follow that chart. If you don't get to a certain mileage, but it says a time, the reason why they're talking about that, like oil, like let's say that you don't put 5,000 miles on the bike in a year, but you put 3 or 2,500. Well, the reason why they want you to change it is because of condensation.
You get water in it, yeah.
Yeah, you get water in it, and you've already got people that are asking, my motorcycle's not water cooled. We're talking about condensation like your glass. Like you have a cold glass. That's why your mother and everybody wants you to use a coaster, because of the condensation that gathers on the outside of the cup. Same thing happens in an engine. If you don't get the engine hot and keep it hot for a long period of time, then the condensation that you have gathered from the last time that the motor cooled off, you don't burn that water off, it accumulates in the oil, and that causes problems.
Yep. So one, it can be a little $2 part that goes bad that can cost you $5-6 grand.
Really easy.
Real quick, real fast. And even, we're gonna finish with this because we're pushing the limit here. Even simple, like people think it's dumb to replace spark plug wires. Eventually they get to the point they're so old, they're not performing well, and it's actually costing you money. Not because it's hurting the engine, but because you are now burning more money in fuel. You're losing fuel mileage.
Spark plugs is one.
Spark plugs is a common part that nobody thinks about changing, and you need to change them regularly on your bike. So, with that being said, I think we'll end this video.
He said, you've talked enough.
We've talked enough. And we can always come back to this down the road and do a more in-depth detail with some stories from the shop. We may just do that. We got stories we can share with you about not doing good maintenance and what the result is. And then we got stories that talk about maintaining a bike heavily and how long it has lasted when you compare the two. So, but yeah, we're gonna end that with this.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Until next time, y'all ride safe.